I'm Elizabeth Liebel. I'm a student here at Bridgewater College, and I'm going to be doing introductions for the first several poets this morning. We're going to go ahead and start off with Trevor, Tingle, and Robert Zachary. So, at the age of 17, Trevor Tingle dropped out of school. He spent his early youth hitchhiking and hopping trains, his later youth sailing on tall ships, and began his adult life as a Mississippi River boat captain. He currently resides in Richmond, Virginia, and has been published in several places. Everyone, please welcome Trevor Tingle to the stage.
All right, thank you. This first poem gets its title from a headline on the BBC, title and inspiration for the poem, probably completely unrelated to what the actual article is about. Do we really need the moon? The last time we saw the moon, the tide went rushing out. Aquatic vegetation fell limp like the broken backs of lost laborers revealed, though the ocean returned and grew calm after that, and all the locks along the Irish Sea became false practicalities. And thousands of baby sea turtles paddled into the streets of Charleston, died and dried so that children, upon finding them in the morning, collected and traded them, vying for a favorite color, size, or shape. And the fishermen from Gloucester to Dar es Salaam stoked fear on shore with stories of the departed wandering darkened waters with no direction home, though those same men never neglected to return to the deep where their catch remained undiminished. And all across the globe, babies continued to be born, and women continued to bleed, and poets found new objects to lay at melancholy's feet. And the wolves and the dogs and the coyotes would howl at anything, as it turns out. Our city lights never burned brighter, and soon the moon became another forgotten guest slipping out the door of humanity's party. And this next one comes from those hitchhiking, train hopping days. East of Texas, west of Louisiana. Mosquitoes ascend like resurrect dew. An old friend and a recent acquaintance lie on either side of me, wrapped in wet blankets and clothing we possess, in the rusted bed of an old Ford truck in the middle of a harvested sugarcane field. With the metallic tang of bug spray in our mouths and the drawstrings of our hoodies pulled tight, we imagined sleep against the coming light and briefly unlearned our various definitions of alone. Soon the sun sweats us out and we laugh at each other's swollen lips as we pack our bags and walk on. The upturned shoulders of the country road smell of damp earth and bear grainy details of color, as though learning to exist in daylight for the first time. And I spent many years sailing on tall ships, and I like to read this one just because it's really the only piece I have that I feel like kind of gets at what it was like to be on those boats. North wind, Lunenburg bound. This gray-green water does not churn, but we do as we press our passage against wind and foam, staggering across deck with time's crooked step, worn into pit and groove. A pale bath of light marks this morning like a highlighter on the myth of our lives. We laugh, bitch, then laugh again as we thrash and lash a sail's talkative canvas tongue. Then return astern, listening to the legs of our slickers whisper a slip-slop song, and still the bilge rises with the sun. I met my wife on board one of those ships, the tall ship Bounty, and after we were actually married, we rejoined the crew for a trip that took us across a good part of Western Europe. And this next poem was written about an experience I had in Northern Ireland. Deep down, we're all the same. The Irish flag flew from a tower of pallets, stacked with an architect's order, 2 stories high, so that I, on an old stone wall, stood eye to eye with the flapping pennant. There'll be a bonfire tonight, somebody said. And so that night I found myself called by a cacophony to the cobblestone street tunnel beneath the wall, and joined a crowd gathered around 2 men with enormous drums strapped vertically to their chests. Thunderous arms worked in a bouncing blur against skins painted with a battle scene where men climbed over men and were fought back from a familiar stone wall. The defenders wore riot blue and gas masks. After the drummers had drummed themselves out, we gathered at the base of the pallet stack as someone took a torch to well-placed channels of kindling. Children carrying furious red gas cans ran in and around the altar, awkwardly slinging propellant, their bodies stiff and intense, as if denying the danger thrust on them against any innate self-preservation. Still the flame did not catch, and the children receded. We watched as awe faded into boredom, then all at once blossomed, not just into brilliance, but into pain, as though a sunburn had been painted across our faces, and we fled, crushing our bodies against each other in the cool stone wall. In a vibrating mass, we made our way to the shelter of the tunnel and watched as steam rose from the abandoned street, dancing on hidden vortices of heat. To my right, a man with arms tattooed and sleeves of rippling Union Jacks shouted incomprehensible curses. The only words I understood were, "Burn, damn you, burn!" And I looked up to see the Irish flag as flames climbed and consumed it. And in 2012, a couple of years after I stopped sailing, the Bounty was sunk. It was one of the first casualties of Hurricane Sandy. I don't know why the captain decided to sail around Cape Hatteras during a hurricane, and I don't think anybody really understands that. But I was quite close to him for a number of years. It's called On the Sinking of the Tall Ship Bounty, and it's for Captain Robin Walbridge. 1. Pitching and rolling, watching the gray blue shoreline diminish, the greenhorn contemplates those tucked away, safe behind wall and window, and realizes she is the one in the distance. Distance becomes a weightless mass, filling a void she never knew she carried. 2. I recall Robin's lecture on what we were and were not allowed to throw overboard. He insisted we toss our glass whole and unbroken, regardless of legality. The ocean is a garbage disposal to some things, a stasis box for others, and as a diver, Robin cherished the small treasures from the past. 3. 2 years of my life now sit at the bottom of the ocean with the ship whose bottle has been broken. 2 lives, 2 faded reputations, the honeymoon suite, the bitter dollar beers and the lads, the twilight barbecues on deck, and the bleary-eyed bow watch, watching helpless before the red rising sun. Small treasures from the past. 4. Nobody dies doing what they love. They just die. And what's written on your grave is not necessarily what they'll say when you're gone. 5. Just tell me, Robin, did you understand the totality of the waves? Did you mourn for your ship? Did you mourn for your crew? Did you mourn for yourself before you succumbed to the froth of sea foam? Are storming skies still beautiful to the dying? 6. Where does my fear of failure lie? Pass me a chart. I'll plot you a course. And I wanted to change the pace after that one a little bit. So I'm going to read a few about childhood.